Al-Samapa in South Carolina, there was a young boy named Styron. Due to his beliefs, living in Al-Samapa was very difficult. Some of the challenges Styron had to face were fear of persecution because of cultural heritage and religious beliefs. There was no help for him because of lack of security and corrupt government. He had thought about fleeing the country with his family, but there were many international hurdles he would have to jump. The first hurdle was that of the UN. Styron knew that he had a right to flee to another country. However, he was limited as certain nations would only accept a specific number of refugees. He also knew that his future relied on whether or not he had a visa. Finally, he decided to leave with his family. He embarked upon the treacherous journey, which he hoped would lead him to Australia and salvation. As he embarked on their journey, he was faced with numerous challenges. In the morning, his family was given a cup of rice to feed them for the day. All through the day, he was forced to scoop buckets of water out of the boat to stop the boat from sinking. At night, he held his mother as their sense of hope started to fade. The next morning, tragedy struck, and he was forced to throw dead bodies overboard. The reality sunk in that they might not make it to Australia. After the long, tiresome journey, Styron and his family did not receive the welcome they had expected. They were placed in mandatory detention. Here they were made to stay while being processed, hoping to gain entrance into Australia. Styron was separated from his family, denied basic medical attention, given minimal food, denied socialising with school friends, a normal education, and a childhood. He witnessed many people going insane, attempting suicides, and dehumanization of those around him. His experiences led to serious mental trauma, which affected him later in life. Styron and his family were allowed to interact with the community. They were again shocked to discover how people treated them in Australia. After settling in Australia, Styron and his family still suffer from many struggles. They have prominent financial issues, health issues, and trouble finding employment on top of all this. They also suffer from post-traumatic stress. Styron was able to integrate and adapt quicker and soon learned English. But having to help his family adjust, he experienced even more pressure. Luckily, there is support for Styron and his family. They receive regular Centrelink payments, help from organisations like St. Vincent de Paul, and volunteers from multicultural support groups. Refugees and boat people were a hot topic in the Australian media. Styron and his family quickly learned about the public's opinion of them and their situation. They learned from Today's Night that they were actually living in luxury, despite their small house in a bad suburb. They learned they were terrorists, though none could fly planes or wire explosives. They learned that they were stealing land, jobs and money off average Australians. They never knew the Aussies were so protective of their toilet cleaning business. They learnt that despite the national anthem, most of the kids in school did not feel they had boundless plans to share, especially as Styron also learnt he had jumped an apparently very, very long queue. A queue that was so important, even the political parties wanted to stop them cutting it. Aussies must love order. finally, Styron and his family faced persecution, fled from their motherland, travelled halfway around the world, were locked up, away from society, and still remain forever positive. Let's hear from the two nurses from the detention centre that helped them through their initial ordeal. These nurses will share some of